Trading tip of the week. Now, okay, you're watching this, so maybe you're already into trading, maybe you're watching it to learn about trading. So, what I'm going to sort of just talk about here is how to get started in trading. Obviously, there's different ways. You can go the retail way, which most people start off with. So, spread betting, CFDs, but there's also the futures and the options, especially now because exchanges bring out these micro contracts, so you don't have to put so much risk of your capital into your trades. And then also you've really got to think about what asset class you want to trade, financial, commodity, or digital, crypto, or such like. Now that's really important because you've got to find the asset class and the product that best suits you, your character, your personality, because that is going to have so much input into your trading decisions. And of course, start on a demo account. Take courses. I'm definitely going to recommend them because we hold loads of courses, and you're more than welcome to join ours. We've got some free ones coming up in August, just sort of like little tasters, which you may want to sort of attend between the 9th and 11th. But it's really important to sort of get some skills, definitely get some fundamental understanding of markets and risk management, technical analysis skills, trading techniques, how to create a trading plan, which helps to give you that consistency, trading psychology, how to manage your emotions while you're in your trades. All of that is so important. You think about it, whatever industry you've been in or know people that have gone in the past, they've all had training, some of them for years. Now, we as pros can always make trading look easy, but it's not. And, it's important that you understand that. And that, whether you've been trading a day, a week, a month, or 2 or 3 years, in reality, you're still a beginner. If you need help, reach out. We're happy to try and give you some advice and help you. Okay, so now we're going to look at some technical analysis. Just a reminder, so black numbers are support and resistance levels, trend lines basically. The brown numbers would be breakout levels. The claret numbers, sort of like the red colour, they're the horizontal that are just based on 2 or 3 tops or bottoms that I've identified. And then below with the diagrams there, just little screenshot of the chart. So pivot point colours, so you can see the pivot point colours. The blue one in the middle is the pivot point, and then the ones above are R1 and R2. The ones below are S1 and S2. And to the right, it's a little bit sort of just about see them, but they're the Fibonacci colours again, just to give you an idea. Just don't always put them on; they have to be there for a reason. So, but it's just to give you an idea for the colour scheme. Okay, so stocks had a reasonable week last week, and they've certainly sort of come back from this bear trend that everyone was expecting us to go into. Doesn't mean that it's not going to come at some stage, especially if the central banks become too aggressive with rate hikes, but it is a little bit of a wait and see at the moment. So a couple of resistance lines above. There's a trend line coming down, which the market broke through on Friday. But I left it in there because at the moment it's a support line because the market's above it. But if it breaks back down below that at the beginning of next week, then at least it gives you an idea of where the market's going to find its support and resistance. And then there's support lower down. On the 30-minute, so on Friday, the Dow tried to test R1, it failed there, and then came all the way back through the pivot level again, which is pretty much where it sort of closed on Friday. Again, a couple of support and resistance levels there, just horizontal lines for you. The S&P daily, again, sort of, there's a key resistance level higher up, which is the sort of reddish colour. And then, you know, I've managed to sort of see it coming into a little bit of a flag shape at the moment. Whether it's going to stay in that triangle or not, or again, it's just going to wait and see where the market starts the week. FOMC is going to really determine where these markets are going. And a support level lower down as well. As usual, 30-minute. So again, you know, I've got the pivot levels on here because they're sort of quite relevant at the moment, and they're great to trade off pivot levels. Again, almost touched the first resistance level, came down and actually ended up testing the first support level. So great opportunities there. And didn't quite get to close at the pivot, but it steadied up towards the end of the session. Nasdaq, so again, some couple of major resistance levels above, and then there's 2 or 3, that's another resistance level and a couple of support levels close together below as well. With the Nasdaq 30-minute, here we go. So, you know, again, we got rejected at the R1, and then came all the way down through the S1, and then closed just above it. Managed to identify a support level there as well, which you can see, and that's the number in the black. The Russell 2000, as you would expect, similar to the rest of the stock markets. Here we've got gain resistance levels, 2, 3 of them there, 1 support level for the moment. Just remember the Russell are the small and mid caps. And of course, you know, with the tech stocks, you know, they come under a bit of pressure because of some results from Snapchat, and the rest of the social media is not looking so good when it comes to revenue from their advertising. Here's the Russell 30-minute. So, yeah, again, similar sort of thing. Failed after the data. Came off, almost tested S2 for the Russell, and then came back and closed just below S1. So the dollar sort of struggled a little bit last week, which makes the pound and the euro look a bit better, but they're not really. But at least they're off the lows for the moment. So as pretty much with all the markets, it's really going to be defined by the FOMC meeting on Wednesday to whether the dollar gains its strength back, puts more pressure on the euro and the pound, or whether it starts to finally weaken. You know, it's highs, strong highs, and, you know, quite rightly so in my mind. It should be up there as far as I'm concerned. You know, their economy is still the strongest by far. Okay, so resistance level there for the pound higher up. I've got that channel there for the moment, which gives you the support and the resistance levels. Here's the 30-minute, slightly different channel looking on the 30-minute to the daily. But again, you know, it's sort of range between S1 and R1 for the Friday. The euro, so did find that little bit more support after ECB. It had a bounce and then came back off a little bit again. You know, people aren't convinced with what the ECB is doing. Well, I'm not going to get into it. I preferred it when Draghi was in control of it, or president. He seems to do a good job, actually. So here we are. So we've got a couple of resistance levels, support level lower down. But, you know, again, I've never been a fan of the euro. Trading it wise, you know, if I do, it's always from the short side. I'm not going to rush into them. You know, it's so important to get your timing right when you're trading. That doesn't mean you just, okay, I need to sell it now. That's not always the case. Be patient, wait for the right levels. So here's the euro in the 30-minute. So here I've sort of managed where we're coming in for a breakout early part of next week. So let's just wait and see which way that goes. It's sort of around about the 102.50 level. So let's see whether the buyers are confident enough to come back in for the euro. I doubt it personally, but we'll see. Moving on to Bitcoin. So for me, it's a reasonable performance last week. Okay, it come off a little bit from its high in the last 2-3 days, but I think considering Tesla sold out 75% of its holdings, it managed it quite well, really. Again, it's got that loose correlation with the stocks, the Nasdaq, so just keep an eye on Nasdaq, and then they'll give you a little bit of an idea. I've got the chart for the euro, for the Bitcoin Nasdaq coming up soon. So here's the 30-minute chart. So a couple of resistance levels in there, support level much lower down, but let's just hope it can hold. Here's the Bitcoin Nasdaq. So Nasdaq's in the black, Bitcoin's in the red. But as you can see, you can just see that correlation, that loose correlation of how they're following. Obviously, it's the Bitcoin following the stocks rather than the other way around. Moving on to gold. So the gold daily in that downtrend, although it did have a good bounce towards the end of the week, those last couple of days, which was good. As I put in my newsletter the other day, I bought call options, so they're working quite well because I bought them below 1700. Is it cheap? It's going to probably depend a little bit on stocks. It's going to depend on investors' risk on or risk off situation. But it has sort of managed a little bit of a bounce towards the end of last week, as I say. Looking at the 30-minute, again, we're coming in for that breakout situation. Most of Friday, it held quite well above the pivot. It tried to break through the R1. It sort of just got through there, but couldn't sustain it, and then come back, and then it sort of closed about mid-range. So gold was about 17.25, 26 on the close. And finally, oil. Last but not least, shall we say. So again, here I've managed to identify support and resistance. It's closed around about the $95 mark. Going to have to wait and see what happens there. With the gas flowing again into Europe, it may remove a little bit of the demand for oil as a substitute. For me also, all I'm seeing really is just a change of buyers. The buyers that were buying from Russia are no longer buying from them, but India, China, even Saudi Arabia are actually buying Russian oil because it's discounted, which leaves a hole in the other market. So Europe and the others that don't want to buy from Russia, they can go into that other market and buy it. So really, it's just been that change of who buys from whom, really. Apart from that, I don't really see this big supply shortage that everyone keeps hyping up at the moment. And here's the WTI 30-minute chart. Here, sort of again, we sort of broke on the downside on Friday, and we almost tested S1. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see where that goes for the moment. But things are quite calm. I mean, there's not too much coming out about the Russia-Ukraine war at the moment. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we just have to wait and see. Okay, so that's pretty much it. What I would like to say is thank you very much, and hope you have a great week. Now, just remember, if you need some help with your trading or you'd like more information, we provide a daily newsletter. It's free. It gives you some information. In it, we include sort of global news, my views, chart levels, including the pivot points. So feel free to sign up for that. one-day workshops. In August, as I say, we've got some half-day sessions that's to introduce. A couple of them are live in London as well. The ones on the 9th and the 11th are live in London. And then for those that can't make it to London, on the 10th, I'm going to do a couple of online sessions. So feel free to sign up for them. Again, you can just reach out to us at the bottom or myself to find out more details on that. But of course, we do the courses and our sort of amazing master classes, which really take you to that next level, regardless of the experience that you have. And you can check those out under the calendar. Trader mentoring, consulting, providing trader education, content to exchanges, brokers. So we do a lot, not just for individuals, but for companies. You know, we advise on hedging for companies as well, stuff like that. But okay, so if you want to contact us, as usual, info@symaxfintech.com, or if you've got anything that you'd like to ask me directly around trading, then it's chris.tubby@symax-int.com. Have a great week. Best of luck over FOMC, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday. All the best.